Ever had one of those tech issues, like where you're stuck on hold, bouncing between departments, and you just wish you could show someone the problem?
Oh, tell me about it.
I had one of those moments last week, and honestly, the live chat agent was a lifesaver. It got me thinking, though. We're hearing a lot of buzz about live chat jobs, but what's the full story? We did a deep dive into the research you sent over, and it's fascinating stuff. Like, what does it really take to succeed in this kind of role? What's the day-to-day actually like?
Right, yeah.
And, of course, the big question, AI. Are robots coming for our customer service jobs?
It's interesting you mentioned that because one of the things that jumped out from the research was this idea of live chat as like this fundamental shift in how we think about customer service.
Okay, so how so?
Well, it's not just about speed and efficiency, though that's definitely part of it. I mean, think about it. How many times have you been stuck on hold for like an hour?
Ugh, don't get me started.
Exactly. But with live chat, it's more about meeting the customer where they are, you know? They're already online, often already frustrated, and this gives them a way to connect instantly and ideally get a resolution quickly.
It's like bringing back that human element that can get lost in automated menus and FAQs.
Yeah.
No more yelling at a robot.
Right. And speaking of that human element, your research dug into the specific skills needed to really excel in these roles. Like you said, it's more than just knowing how to type, right?
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of person to handle, like the fast-paced nature of chat, the whole typing while talking thing.
Well, and think about the emotional intelligence involved. One source called it digital empathy, basically, being able to read between the lines of a typed message, picking up on tone and emotion that might not be obvious in text.
Oh, that's so true. Like trying to decipher if someone's being sarcastic or genuinely confused through a chat box. That's a skill.
Exactly. It's about building rapport quickly, using clear language,
Yeah.
and sometimes even mirroring the customer's communication style to make them feel heard and understood.
I hadn't thought about that, but it makes sense. Like, even something as simple as an exclamation point can change how a message is perceived. Okay, so we've got the skills down, but what about the day-to-day? What's the reality of a live chat job?
Well, the research definitely highlights both the pros and cons.
Hit me with it.
Flexibility is a huge draw working remotely, potentially setting your own hours, which, by the way, aligns perfectly with what we know about you.
Hey, I like my flexible work-life balance.
Of course. But, and this is a big but, there's also the potential for burnout. Managing multiple chats, often with complex issues, can be really mentally taxing.
Yeah, it's like that saying, with great flexibility comes great responsibility. To not completely lose your mind.
Exactly. That's why the research also highlighted the importance of companies providing proper training and support, especially when it comes to handling those really tough interactions.
Yeah, like when a customer's already at their wit's end and you're the one who has to, like, digitally talk them off the ledge.
Yeah. Right. One source called it digital de-escalation. These are specific techniques to calm down tense situations online, whether it's acknowledging frustration, using humor appropriately, or just finding a way to like reset the tone of the conversation.
It sounds like it requires a whole different set of skills compared to, like, in-person customer service.
Absolutely. And that leads us to the big question looming over all of this. AI. It's the elephant, or maybe the chatbot, in the room when we talk about the future of live chat jobs.
It's the question on everyone's mind, are robots coming for my job?
Well, the research suggests that it's not a matter of if AI will impact these roles, but how. Get this. By 2025, nearly 85% of customer interactions will be handled without a human agent, at least for part of the process.
Wow, 85%, that's a lot.
But here's the thing. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Think of it less as humans versus bots and more like they're becoming our coworkers.
Okay, so how do we learn to work with the robots instead of fearing them?
Exactly. For example, chatbots are great at handling those initial repetitive questions. What's your return policy? Or what are your store hours?
Hmm.
That frees up human agents to focus on the more complex issues, the ones that require empathy, nuance, those situations where a human touch really makes a difference.
Right, because you can't really program a robot to deal with, like, a customer who's having a total meltdown about a lost package.
Exactly. And the shift towards AI also highlights the importance of specializing. Those agents who can really hone their skills in areas where humans outperform bots, those are the ones who will thrive.
So it's about finding that synergy, that sweet spot where AI and human intelligence work together. Which brings me to a point from the research that I found really interesting. companies that are doing live chat well. You dug into Zappos specifically.
Ah, Zappos, they're like the gold standard, right? And what's so fascinating about them? They completely get that even in a digital space, it's about human connection.
So how do they translate that into their live chat?
It's all about the training. They emphasize active listening, using positive language, going the extra mile to solve a problem, even if it's outside of the typical script. They're not just training employees, they're cultivating a whole culture around customer service.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how technologically advanced we become, people still crave that human connection. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from the skills needed to the potential impact of AI. Based on everything we've discussed, who do you think would thrive in a live chat role?
Well, if you look at the research, a few things stand out. Strong written communication is essential. You've got to be able to get your point across clearly and concisely in writing.
Makes sense.
You've also got to be able to multitask like a pro, juggling multiple conversations, keeping track of details, all while staying cool under pressure. But beyond the technical stuff, it's really about that digital empathy we talked about, being able to connect with people on an emotional level, even through a screen. If you're someone who loves problem solving, enjoys helping others, and can navigate the nuances of online communication, this could be a really rewarding career path.
And it really makes you think about the future of communication in general. Like, as technology evolves,
Oh,
will live chat evolve with it? Will we all be video conferencing with customer service agents in the future? Or will the efficiency and ease of the written word prevail?
right. What will the customer service experience look like in 5, 10 years? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Something to ponder.